Anyone and all people who has anger, they're not themselves. You are the person that you are angry at. That's why it's so important to get to know yourself so that you can see who you're angry at. And if you're doing the hooping and hollering prayers and things like that, some people get up, oh, praise the Lord, hoop and holler, bless my mama, bless my daddy. Continue to do it. Do both. You will see if you want to stay with the hooping and hollering or do you want to be still and know God. So my gift to you, no charge, at rebuildingtheman.com/church. Anytime you have situations happening in your life, always be still. Don't overreact. Most of the people that I know, they say, oh, I know Jesus. I love Jesus. I'm an observer. And as soon as something don't go their way, they get mad. I'm like, what the? If you overreact, folks, remember to do that. Don't overreact. And when you get mad, it's your problem. It ain't your wife's problem, your husband's problem, your neighbor, your friend, your preacher, your teacher. It's your problem. Why you think you tick? It didn't go your way or the way you think it should go. Don't have a way you think it should go. Let life just happen. Thoughts make you think that life should go the way you want it to go. And if it doesn't, if someone don't do or say or act the way you think they should act, you hate them. And then you blame them for being mad. It's the darndest thing I ever seen. But it's amazing to see it. So relax. We have a counseling service, and I have to admit, thanks to God, it is the best counseling service on this side of heaven. I counsel with men and women, families, individuals around the world. Most people are unhappy, they're miserable, they have rough lives, they're depressed, suicidal, young and old, of all races. I understand, I know why, and I do understand it. Because exactly what's happening in me is happening with everybody outside of me, inside of them. And I've noticed that with those who really, really, really want to understand, they overcome it just like that, out of one counseling session. If you need counseling, you can go to rebuildingtheman.com or call 800-411-2663. 800-411-BOND. Best counseling service on this side of heaven. Now, I totally disagree with the way things are going, but you can't be angry because that's what the enemy wants. He wants to control you. They do things to make you mad so they can control you. It's like being married. And the wife would do things to make you mad, or she'll do things to make you feel good. And men do that to women too when they want something from the woman, especially sex. They'll make her feel good or they'll make her angry. And the woman's gonna have to say, you don't want to be angry. You want to speak up. You want to disagree with what's going on. It's wrong, but do not be angry. Then you won't have fear. You won't have doubt. You won't have worries. You'll be able to see, but you got to stay away from anger. That's why you must forgive your mothers and your fathers so that you can overcome the spirit of anger. It's a spirit and it's wicked. Nothing good in anger because it has no love, folks. You need love to defeat evil. And love is not a weakness. It's a strength. It's from God. It's His nature. Steve, thank you for calling and thanks for holding. How have you been helped by the show?
I'm going to tell you this. I believe you might go down in history as one of the greatest, if not the greatest, black man that ever lived on planet Earth, as far as I'm concerned. I don't know anybody before you that's been that great. You know, freeing the slaves is one thing, but you've been freeing people of their mind, which matters, it should be anyhow, to you more than anything else, because with the mind not being right, there ain't nothing else going to happen right anyway.
If you can doubt every thought, because you're not your thoughts, if you can doubt every thought, knowing that you're not your thoughts, you don't create them, they're not from God, that they're from the deceiver, the great deceiver, Satan. If you can doubt every thought, you can be free, just like that. At an instant. Bring every thought into captivity. It's so amazing. So I asked the question, are you better than a child molester? I've discovered over the 30 years of counseling, the one thing that's missing, and I think because it's not taught in the homes or talked about, we don't have examples of it, right, is love. Our theme this year is to bring back Christianity, to love God with all our heart, soul, and might, our neighbor as ourselves, and to endure. And when you're in a fallen state, people will judge the molester but think they're better than the molester. And I ask, well, why do you think you're better? When I realized it doesn't matter what you think about yourself or how much you have or don't have or how you accomplish things in life or don't. If you have no love, you have nothing. Isn't he Mexican?
Colombian.
He calls himself American.
What is this?
Anchor Baby.
And in this corner, it's the American Anchor Baby.
Daddy's home.
That's an offensive term. People find that hurtful.
You mean it's not politically correct? Excuse me. I'll use the word anchor baby. You know, he's an anchor baby in Canada.
Tell him we still rolling with Trump, too.
Anchor baby, the whole thing sounds horrific. You're just making it sound like immigrants are these horrific, greedy people.
Ustedes pueden aceptar mi negocio o aceptar las consecuencias. Plata o plomo.
So you would be considered white, in my opinion.
You the blackest one in this room.
I think so.
And what happened was his mama got pregnant on the other side of the border, and then a few hours before, just before it was time for him to pop out, she jumped across the border and let him fall on American soil. So he became the anchor baby. You don't call him the anchor baby for nothing. Amazing.
We like this anchor baby, right?
Hello, I'm the American Anchor Baby, and this is my show. Thanks for tuning in, folks, on this fine Monday. Fine Wednesday. A pleasure to be with you because we got a bit of a show to get into here, okay? I see all of you coming in, and I do appreciate it. Hello, hello, hello. On this fine Wednesday, I'm going to get to all my calls, the super chats, and all that, and all your support. I see you guys have been very generous over there on buymeacoffee.com/anchorbabies, super chatting here on the channels. You can Rumble Rant on Rumble. But let me say hello to my people who are watching here on rumble.com/American Anchor Baby. How you doing? Nice to see you there. Den Bro, Leon, welcome, welcome, welcome. Anchors away. Thank you for that. My viewers on punchy.tv/Anchor Baby, the good, the true, the only. And of course, here my people on YouTube. How you doing? An absolute pleasure. Okay. Let's see here. What else? I'm welcoming all of you. You're in the chat. You're saying hello. You're showing decorum in these times of chaos. Show some decorum. It's like, what? It's like, okay, so you're just like an animal on the streets, okay with chaos and killing people. I mean, it's either that or you click the like button. So don't be rude. Click the like button. Say hello. Leave a little comment. If you're here watching live, say hello in the say hello in the chat. We saw you come in. We saw you come in. It's like, why isn't he saying hello? Were you raised in the woods by wolves? Were you a wolf boy? All right. So welcome everybody. I've berated you. I've said hello to the channels. You can call in if there's something on your mind, something you want to speak on, and a question you have. That is 888-775-3773. For those who need the number, there's some on hold right now, and I want to get to everybody. In fact, we'll see. We'll see in a minute or two. We're deciding how we kick it off with calls. Kick it off with calls. Kick it off with some of this stuff here. There's all sorts of stuff. I do want to get into Pam Bondi getting grilled, and a couple. That's the news. Actually, what's the first thing here on my packet? First thing I was writing about was squatters' rights. I was getting educated. Like, I just don't know how that stuff happens, but now I'm a little bit more familiar. So for those who want to know, I'll tell you. Because, sometimes you hear about these things. You're like, but how does that happen? How do you have like a $2.5 million home? Well, okay, there's some sense to be made about the law and what you hear in the news and how they like to make one situation sound like another one. That might even be kind of a theme of the show, maybe. You take the law that says, yeah, you can actually expropriate property if you show that you maintained it better and used it for better things over like a 5 to 10 year period. Like there's a lot of strict requirements, trying to make it sound like some homeless person, some degenerate or some criminal or just some opportunistic evil person is the same as that. Okay, you might see that in other parallels as we move on forward today. Okay, we're going to get into a number of things. 888-775-3773. I see you I see you calling and you're holding. I see you in the chat. You're saying hello. Howdy do. You're clicking the like. You're taking it easy. You're ready for the show. What else here? Buymeacoffee.com/anchorbaby for my supporters. Rumble.com/AmericanAnchorBaby. YouTube. You guys know it. And what else? Okay, I see you all in the chat. Thank you, cuz. How you doing? Very nice. Knit the anchor, baby. Did Nick stop eating? Are you guys talking about my body again? My change. Oh, you're catching up. The form, you're seeing the form change, and now you're like, oh, something's happening. You're late, okay? The ascension is well on its way. On our way to absolute leanness. Probably the first time in my whole life, I'm about to be this lean. And then we're just going to keep building on the frame. Ascending. Someone asked me on Sunday, ascending to what, Nick? What are you talking about? Ascending to what? I'm like, greatness. What do you think? Ascending to greatness. And they were like, yeah, all thoughts are lies. That's what they told me on Sunday. But shout out to you. Amazing. He went to fat camp. Maybe that stuff works. I don't know. Okay, so we're messing around. We'll say hello to everybody. Let's jump into something here. Can we suspend Hake's pay for today for not fully reading my? What are you talking about? Hake, are you hearing this? You apparently didn't read someone's super chat. They're trying to dock your pay. Thank you for hitting the. Whoa. I'm not trying to make a big fanfare about it. Okay, I'm not trying to make a big deal about it. But Kevin, I mean, you're saying you clicked the like button, so shout out to you. Let's just move on, right? Who needs the fanfare, right? We love you. Thank you. All right, let's keep it moving here. You know what I want to do first? Let's see here. I want to tell you about squatters really quick because you're like, oh, Nick, I already know. But I didn't know, and maybe some of you out there don't know. And you like maybe wondering, what? How does this even happen? Okay, I was curious enough to find out for you. I want to tell you that Nick's not on the Rob Ford diet. I don't even call it a diet. When I hear diet, when I hear someone say I'm on a diet, it sounds like what I hear is I don't really want to lose weight. I don't really want to, or be healthy or gain muscle or whatever it is you're trying to do. I'm on a diet. I hear someone who's about to fail. And I'm not, you know what I mean by that? Not poo-pooing your attempt. I'm just saying you're already calling this thing you're doing. You're trying to just do something a little different. You're already calling it negative. You're already saying, I'm on a diet. I'm on a diet. You're already signaling that you hate what you're doing. you don't quite get your mental, emotional relationship with your wants, desires, goals, etc. Nick doing P90X. No, I'm not. You don't need to do all that. What's up with all this like grind set mindset? I'm gonna work so hard. You know what? That's it. I'm done being fat. I'm done being this and that. It's time to grind set mindset, hardcore, 5 days a week. I'm working out. You don't need to do that. You don't need to do that. That's not how you lose weight. That's not how you lose weight. By the way. Once I ascend, I'll tell you. Once I ascend, then you'll believe me, and then I could give you. I don't know. Maybe I could be a workout person. No, like like some sort of side hustle. I don't know. Anyways, 888-775-3773. I think I want to show some love to the calls as they are filling up. So, and then we'll get into a number of things we got to get into. What do you guys talk about? What are you saying? Just count your calories and work out. It's not magic. Thank you, Tactical Brucey. It's not like a hero effort. It's high constant averages. Okay, Jermaine out of Canada. Thank you so much for your call. You're on the air.
Hey, Nick, how are you?
All is well, Jermaine. Appreciate it.
Nice. Yeah, I'm calling you today, regarding the Canada bridge and the Michigan bridge there connect the U.S.
Okay, I barely heard about that.
Yeah, I was calling to ask what are your thoughts on it?
I basically heard that Trump was threatening they want to build a bridge, and he's saying, or opening a bridge. Maybe it's already built. It may already be built, but he doesn't. He was threatening to block the opening, is what I heard.
Yeah, pretty much. It's like, I think it was regarding the Obama era, and it's mostly Canadian steel and labor put in building it, and Trump is saying, listen, until we get compensated, what's the word?
Compensation or compensated.
Yeah. Until you get compensated for it, then I think it's pretty much saying how the state used to subsidize Canada, and then Canada just turn their back on the state and go to and now make deals with China.
Right.
That's what. But I'm not too sure. I'm not too sure if I understand what's really happened. So that's what's calling to see what you guys think about it.
BBC reports on this, says the White House has demanded that Canada share authority and ownership of a new bridge connecting the two countries after a clear and direct call between Trump and Prime Minister Mark Carney. The Gordie Howe International Bridge connecting the Canadian province of Ontario to the U.S. state of Michigan will not open until Ottawa treats the United States with fairness and the respect we deserve. Trump wrote on social media earlier. The bridge is funded by the Canadian government, but will be publicly owned by both Canada and Michigan. Carney said on Tuesday he had a positive conversation reminding him Canada paid for the bridge. So the BBC seems to support some of the things you said about Canada paying for the bridge. They're saying that the steel, it was built by, the BBC reports it was built by U.S. and Canadian workers and with steel from both countries. Doesn't seem like they don't seem to indicate if it was more or one the other. But that's what I'm getting from the BBC so far, and I mean, it seems to fall in line with Trump's the tariffs and recent criticisms against Canada, saying, "Hey, we have a bad trade deal with you guys. That's got to change. You guys, illegal immigration is starting to ramp up. Drugs are coming from your border, and there's been just a big digging of the heels, I gather, from Canada on all this. They've teamed up." If you notice, they're not like big dogs alone. Like, I'm a big tough guy digging in my heels by myself. Canada, no, they're supported by their by the EU, And the Europeans saying, "Hey, we're the historic countries together." You know, Trump's the guy who's crazy and different, trying to do tariffs and Russia this and that. So, in my opinion, it's like this, like scared, doesn't want to be, don't want to think ahead, progressive. You know, they don't want to have like a progressive mindset of the world. They're just like, stop being different, Trump, and they've just dug their heels, and that's my opinion about what's going on there. And this is further that they're going to put it on Trump, but hey, you know, Carney's talking to China. I don't know what to tell you about that.
I mean, it seems like the report I saw, because I didn't look into this much. They were saying it was built by Canadian steel, pretty much from Hamilton. Hamilton, the steel manufacturer and for steel and stuff like that. And it was built mostly only by Canadian workers. I was like, I'm not too sure, so I didn't get time to look into it. So there you go. It seems like it's not true, the report, but whatever.
Even if it was, you know, like let's say it's like all Canadian steel and workers. I mean, the question, what seems to be from my perusing of this, the question at hand here is not a matter of fairness in economics, but a matter of diplomacy, of which lately has been pretty negative. So I think that's what's at the center of this. That's the real question. It's a matter of diplomacy between the two countries, and some of the recent pretty eye-opening, we're watching this unfold, moves with Carney and trade tariffs in China.
Yeah.
So even if they paid it all, it's all our steel. I mean, the question here is diplomacy. Yeah, okay, this is a bridge between our countries. Are we going to work together or not?
Yeah. Are you gonna now, like, they're making, maybe I'm getting ahead of myself here, but they're making deals with China to get these cheap EVs coming to Canada. Is it gonna cross in America, cross over? Who knows, right? So maybe Trump is like, we got to figure out something here before we even open this bridge. Like, we're gonna make some rules here, but I don't know. We'll see, I guess. But
that's what it sounds like to me personally.
Yeah, but also yesterday I called in. The guest came on, so
Jermaine, man, I was thinking about you, and I wanted, you know, it's just a matter of rudeness and all that. I'm sure you understood though. It was impromptu. JLP came in, and we're like, that's how it went down. But Jermaine, thanks for the patience and all that. You called in. You were in the middle of that, and I had to put you on hold, and that's just how it went down.
Yeah. No worries, man. Totally understand.
I was thinking about picking you up in case you had a question for the guest, but you know.
Yeah, you know what? I had a question for him, Nick. What's his name again? Heidi or Hayden?
Hayden McDougal. He's known as Woman Propaganda on social media.
Yeah, I was going to ask him, you know, like if he has love for the females, because I know he has been on Fresh and Fit, and I saw a clip of him going crazy on them.
Oh, yeah? Saying, like verbally, you mean?
Oh, yeah. He's going crazy on them. I'm like, that's kind of wild, but okay. And then he's like, "Oh, join my Discord for $50." I'm like, "What the?"
Oh yeah, he was advertising a red pill. So he had gotten like a red pill, like someone who's like you know, they I guess had purport themselves as a expert in dating and cold approaching, as he called it, and he was just advertising that what seemed like a course or lesson on how to cold approach. Thoughts on that? What were you thinking when he was speaking on that?
You know what? If only we had some more time yesterday, because it would have tied in right with the question that I asked you yesterday about why most, you know, blacks and Western people, they're like, oh, the Islamic and Muslim belief is the way. And you answered yesterday, so I'll answer now. The reason, in my experience, why they they take on this belief is because of the female, right? They see Western society like degenerate, and they're like, oh, the females are out of control. They need Sharia law. We need the Muslim belief to control them. And I'm like, it's always about the female. It's all about, because you need a woman and you want to control them. That's from my experience talking to them and understanding them. Yeah. So it would have.
If I may add anecdotally to that, it's like I seen almost like call it a demographic or contingency or subgroup of this like red pill world. You know, there's a bunch of YouTubers, influencers that kind of got into that content world of manosphere, red pill content. Just to summarize, and there seems to be a group of people following all that went Muslim, and they were originally like either kind of atheist or group Christian, and then let it go. Definitely American or Western, but it seems like a bunch. I don't know how prevalent, but there was enough to it's some attention that I noticed it too, and they went Muslim. So
Yeah.
And they talk about red pill women and all that. So kind of makes a little bit of sense, your observation.
Yeah, it's funny, it shows that they're not really doing it because of God. They're just doing it because of women.
Right.
They want to control the females. That's kind of crazy, man. But it makes sense why they're down that hill there.
Interesting, man. Yeah, that's often what religion is, right? Like, it's a way. So how do I live? How do I have a more physically, like, a better life, etc.
Yeah, what a mess. But yeah, man, that's my little thing here for today. I guess I'll look out more for the bridge thing and probably dive a little bit more in it later when I get home.
Nice, Jermaine. Call me back, man. Let me know. Appreciate it.
Sounds good, Nick. Have a good show, man.
Nice. Thank you. 888-775-3773. Amazing. But yeah, check it out. It was an impromptu guest there with Woman Propaganda, Hayden McDougall. We're talking about a number of things, you know, like what's going on right now. I mean, he has a interesting call it a fight he wants to take up against Section 8. Podcast that episode yesterday. And yeah, he was starting like a pack to put Section 8 on the ballot for people. He was calling it the first true opposition or whatever to Section 8 of its kind. And you know, I'm not that I'm knowledgeable enough about Section 8, but I don't know how it like came about or why and all that. But you know, you have what happens is the government has like the power to put Section 8 low income housing in all sorts of places, and commonly they move to put it in nice areas and high income areas, white areas, and many of the proponents of this kind of stuff, whether it's lower down, the clips are out there where they're mask off saying why. We want this neighborhood is too white, it's too Christian, it's, you know, and then all the assumptions of racism and original sin and all that. But the government is essentially allowed to do that. And, you know, for example, with the recent fires, which was where was that? The Palisades fire? Where was it? Pasadena? There were these fires you heard of recently. And then soon after, they're talking about reconstructing the whole area in there. And what do the headlines say? Section 8 housing proposed. And right in the burnt down nice areas, they fill it up with Section 8, fulfilling, even if they, whether actively or by accident, fulfilling the wishes of turning these white neighborhoods, high-income neighborhoods, etc., oppressive neighborhoods, otherwise diverse. So, you know, some of that, it seems like in every area of American life, there's some sort of justification for a criminal, to the point where they call it squatters' rights at times. Let's do this really quick because I educated myself here. You might want to know, well, how does that happen, though, Nick? How do you get a $2-point-something million home and you just have people living in it and there's nothing you can do? So it's not exactly like that. It's a little bit of a gray area. Depends on the case. But you may have heard the term squatters' rights. I mean, how do squatters have rights, right? Essentially, what you have is a blending of two situations, okay? You know, there is a much older concept known as adverse possession, which gets confused with the far shorter and far smaller in scope, as they're known as protections for squatters. Okay, short-term protections for squatters, very different from adverse possession, right? Where you're able to take property from someone else, in a sense, if you want to boil it down. Now that's way older, goes all the way back to English common law. Okay, and it's a matter of punishing people who let their land sit around, and for people who hold onto land and property and do nothing with it. It goes way back. Old English common law encouraged the productive use of land, punish owners who ignore their properties for decades, and settle old disputes and clear up titles after long periods. Now, when this adverse possession, an actual situation like this would be like farmland. Let's say you're like a neighboring farm, and it's just all this farmland that doesn't get used, and you have just this tiny plot, and your plot just, I don't know, somehow you expand it. Maybe they say it's to claim adverse possession, the possession must be hostile and adverse, meaning the owner doesn't want it. You have to actually use it and occupy it. You can't just take it and leave. It has to be open and notorious, meaning you're obviously taking it. You say, I'm just going to farm this plot. No one's going to farm this plot. It's been here years and years. I'm going to farm it. And if no one stops me in 3, 5, 10 years, depending on the state, then it's basically yours. And no one fights you in those years. The real owner doesn't come back and say, hey, you know what? I want to farm it. And then you can actually take it. In some states, 3 to 5 years. California, 7 to 10 years in many states, up to 20 to 30 years in other places. It's an old thing. What gets confused with that is the short-term protections these squatters have, because basically you have rights. Okay, you're like a person in this country. You have rights, and you sit in a property that's not yours. Many ways that can happen. It's a property that's listed for sale. No one's in it. It's a property that's held by a bank because it's a property owner. You see them, you're allowed. You can get the cops and remove them. That's trespassing. But let's say that trespasser's been there for a while, and they can kind of show it, prove it. It's like, hey, we got trash here. Bills are arriving here, and you could prove of like up to a month. Cops now suddenly it depends on the state, but cops suddenly now stay out of it. They're like, actually, now this is a civil thing. You must now evict them because they have protections, because a while ago we came up with laws that they call them tenant rights. And in there's something about like, oh, you can't just throw people out. You need to like prove it to the law. And that ends up including, under that umbrella, it ends up including people who break into your property and have been there for a bit. Okay, if they could like be there for 30 days, etc. And that's essentially what that is. Squatters' rights and all that. It was a funny thing on JLP earlier this morning when they played this. You know, that's what got me. I just heard about it. I'm like, okay, well, how does this actually happen though?
Not in the real life. I'm actually experiencing
what this lady was trying to do. Now she's not homeless. She doesn't look homeless or anything. Apparently,
Can't be doing regular people.
It was trying to do the second one. Was trying to adversely possess this $2.3 million home because she did, as her lawyer stated, she did her research, found that it was just held by this company. Okay, well, let me attempt to live in it, right? But it's kind of backfiring for her because she already went to jail over it. They're hounding her in the streets like, hey, why are you living there?
I only see in the TV, not in the real life. I'm actually experiencing in my neighborhood.
You can't be doing regular people.
Are we back at it again?
Unfortunately, yes. Less than 2 weeks of being incarcerated, Tamika Good is back in the house.
For months, we've been tracking the alleged squatter takeover of a $2.3 million Bethesda home that's been foreclosed and bank-owned. Occupants Tamika Good and her partner Corey Pollard have been at the center of the alleged occupancy.
Get out my face.
Ma'am, why are you in a $2.5 million property?
After months of delays, Good was convicted on.
It's like, let's do our research, find a vacant home, let's plan our come up, adversely possess this, prove that we're living in and out of it, doing all this stuff. They say that they had very creative claims to it, but they didn't really say in this report what they were. I wonder what they were saying, you know? She apparently represented herself. You know, I'll present to the court my case that I actually deserve this property because, you know, racism and nobody's living in it. How dare they? You know what? This is my come up. You know, I would like to know what her reasoning was, how she represented herself.
All counts on January 22nd, sentenced to 90 days in prison. Pollard continues to face extradition for multiple vehicle theft-related crimes in Pennsylvania. 11 days later, Good was released
as a rap sheet
on appeal on February 2nd after posting a $5,000 cash bond. Activities at the house started again soon after her release. For days, a woman wearing similar shoes and green pants was seen moving in and out of the alleged Bethesda squatter home. We spoke with Alex Webster.
Oh, yeah, and it was this guy. I also want to play it because of this guy. That was just a special moment. I just think this is the lawyer. I know you already saw this, maybe. This is the lawyer involved. I guess did not plan on any questions about the case. You know, it gets invited to an interview about the case, is asked the first question about the case, and he's like, "Oh, cut the camera."
Question. It's really the number one question on everybody's mind. How would your client, Ms. Tamika Good, get inside a $2.3 million property?
Cut. I don't know if I can answer that. Allegedly.
That's the number one question, right? It's like, well, is this an adverse possession claim or is this trespassing? And then, you know, trying to finagle it into something else. Oh no, they asked the question.
Can I cut?
We're
rolling.
We're
rolling,
we're
buddy.
Rolling, my friend. Yeah.
Oh man.
All right, can you
Think
re-ask
about
the
this
question?
one.
Sure,
Think
absolutely.
about this one.
So the number one question on everybody's mind is how your client, Ms. Tamika Good, got into a $2.3 million property.
Well, Ms. Good did her research. She found out that a certain property was under the control of a certain group.
It's like already spicy because he's admitting the control of this other group. Okay, I mean, fine, that's a known thing in adverse possession, but you know, you gotta have some history here. Tamika, all we got is videos of her just coming into this home. That's not hers. You're saying it's controlled by somebody else.
And that there was a title issue. Due to the title issue, she was able to assume the property under squatters' rights.
Yeah, anyways. That's actually a thing with adverse possession, this title thing. It's called color of title, okay? Essentially, like I was describing to you, this old concept of adverse possession, English common law. It's like, hey, it's to encourage proper usage of the land. And if someone can prove that they're going to live in it, use it, no one's going to fight them over it for multiple years, call it theirs. That's their property. But also, if it's happened before where you have like either flawed deeds or flawed documents that seem to give ownership to this or that person, those kinds of documents actually can be used in an adverse possession case to shorten the period which you need to be like owning it to like adversely possess it. But you know, this is far cry from adverse possession. Okay, but anyways, now you're educated, I'm educated. Okay, we get it now. So when they say squatters' rights and all that, now we know what they're talking about. Okay. But anyways, okay, you know, I do want to kind of move on here. Okay, 888-775-3773. Oh, man. She just, yeah, you guys get it. What are y'all saying? Thank you, Jim. Thank you, Tokyo. Appreciate that. And she drives a Porsche. She doesn't look hungry to me. But yeah, it's opportune. It's opportunistic is what's going on here. 888-775-3773. I want to get to my super chats. I want to get to all that and your calls. In fact, you are holding here, and I want to get to you. I want to get into this House Judiciary Committee, this House Committee thing here with Pam Bondi and Epstein. Oh my gosh, Epstein. So I do want to get into that. I wanted to kind of segue into all that.
Or will
I had this video on my mind. And then we'll get to calls and then Bondi and all that. Okay? But I wanted you to kind of want to get into Bondi and these Democrats and all that. Going after this, going after the Bondi, the DOJ over this Epstein transparency. They're saying you're not being very transparent. Kind of want to give you the scoreboard, I guess, or whatever. You know how that's gone down. Here in a moment. There was this interaction, though, really quick, between Eric Swalwell. You know this guy? Swalwell. Representative. Is he still California representative? Eric Swalwell. Yes, United States representative out of California's 14th Congressional District. So you know him. You might recognize him a bit. Crying up a storm, all those tears for the January 6th stuff. He was great on that, right? Any chance he got in front of the cameras crying over our democracy, these people are crazy. Isn't that the guy? Or am I getting him wrong? Eric Swalwell crying. No, I'm thinking of someone else. Apologies. Eric Swalwell crying J6. Am I thinking of the same guy? I think I might be thinking of someone else. I'm thinking of someone else. I'm thinking of Adam Kinzinger from the January 6th committee. Remember this guy? That's who I was thinking of. We can move on now. That's who I was thinking of, this crying guy. But Eric Swalwell is just this Democrat out of California. And he was questioning the ICE. It was this House Homeland Committee questioning ICE and all that. It was like an oversight committee. And they brought ICE director, acting ICE director Todd Lyons. Okay, he brought him there, and they're grilling him over ICE. And essentially what Eric Swalwell just got finished saying in this clip right before we started, he was grilling them about those two that were killed by ICE, murdered by ICE. So he didn't quite say it like that, but they'll say these ICE people are just killing citizens in the street. Renee Good, Alex Preddy. And then there was this other guy. I say guy, but he's a kid. Conejo, another Bad Bunny, except this is actually his name. Liam Conejo Ramos. You may have seen pictures of him. Little illegal kid with the little bunny hat. And it's like, oh my gosh, how can ICE, what did ICE there? There's all these stories about this little Liam Ramos and how he was left separated from his parents, separated from his father. He was crying out. You know, there's no video of it, but they say he was just crying out there in the street, right? With no parents. Why? Because of ICE. They leave out that this dad basically abandoned the kid to run from ICE. You know, whatever. Right, priorities. So he just got finished talking about that, and this is where he's asking this ICE director about that. And he asked him to resign over it, essentially.
Supposed to protect, or will you side with the killers?
The killers, side with the killers. He's talking about ICE.
Bringing terror to our streets. Mr. Lyons, will you resign from ICE?
No, sir, I won't.
Why not?
Because, sir, that child that you're showing right there, the men and women of ICE took care of him when his father abandoned him and ran from law enforcement.
Time has expired.
He never should have gone
Gentleman's
into custody.
time has expired. I recognize.
So obviously, I'm playing this clip. Why? Look, yeah, the director's like, no, I'm not resigning. Okay, the officers didn't do anything wrong. Okay, the kids were abandoned by these people to run from ICE. They're criminals. Okay, fine, you get that. But it was just that little moment, where Swalwell's like, he shouldn't have been arrested in the first place. Just like a revelatory moment, no?
Abandoned.
What they want is no illegals deported. What they want is ICE abolished. Nobody can be deported. No criminals, if black. Okay, now I'm stretching it, but can go to jail. That's what they want. They don't want any deportations.
Him and ran from law enforcement.
He ran from law enforcement and abandoned his kid. That's
expired.
what happened.
He never should have gone into custody.
Time has expired.
He never should have gone into custody. That's what these, and it kind of quickly goes away, right? Time has expired, and they move on. Kind of throw that out. He kind of throws that out there, but what he threw out is how they really feel. They want no deportations. They don't want any criminal deported. They don't believe anybody can be illegal. No one is illegal. But yeah, it's just a little moment I want to show. I want to get to my calls, and we'll get to Bondi and all this stuff and other things, okay? Because we got Jeff. We got Jeff out of Louisiana. How you doing, sir? You're on the air.
Pretty good, man. I just want a quick comment on that video you were showing at the blog about the squatters' rights thing.
That's right. You want to have a comment on that?
Yeah, well, I want to comment on was they released a video game today called Reloaded.
Wait, what did you just say? There's a video game called Reloaded?
No, they released a video game called Reloaded. And the base of game is full of black people, Africans, stealing back artifacts sold from African Western museums. And every character is black. Even bad guys are black.
Ah, Reloaded.
Yeah.
Reloaded is an African futurist stealth heist game released February 10th for PC and Xbox, where players, as part of a rogue crew, steal over 70 real-life, culturally significant African artifacts from Western museums and private collections. I had not heard about it. Should we play it?
Yeah. Yeah, watch the video for it, because even the bad guys in it, or the bad characters are black.
You said the bad characters are black?
Yeah, all the characters are black, but even the one that portrays the bad guy is a black guy.
The diversity is unstoppable. You got to even make the villains. Even whitewash the colonialists, but I'm not familiar with this game. I've never heard of it.
Well, I was watching. They had I think it was like 57 people.
Is it
played it.
Is it Peak Gaming? Did you play it?
No, I didn't play it. I just saw a video on it. No.
Is it Peak or is it woke? It sounds woke.
It's woke. It's woke. It's funny as they come out with that game. I just want to mention it because it's talking about the people trying to do squatting rights and stuff. And
right.
Which I kind of know what you're talking about in that, because I think it's in Louisiana, it's 5 years if you pay taxes, you can claim the land.
What a nasty thing, too, because these museums have preserved those things. You can imagine maybe otherwise it would have been lost. And another thing, too, is people who say that are, right, they're talking about grievances, and they're trying to bring up past grievances. Right, they're trying to say you looted these African countries, so we'll loot you back. But that's not a way forward. You know what I mean?
Yeah, man. Well,
that's not how we move forward.
Okay, I mentioned one more thing. I'll let you go. You talk about cultural differences. Everybody wants to talk about race when you talk about culture. In I think it was like the late 1800s, one of the heirs of Jameson whiskey, one of the heirs of it, went to Africa to go on a tour, go to Congo in Africa, and he traded 6 handkerchiefs to a black tribe to kidnap a 10-year-old slave and cannibalize her.
I see. I didn't know this.
Yeah, they did
Where'd
it
you hear
for
about
6
this?
I watch a lot of history stuff, and I was watching a video tonight, and it's about Jameson whiskey, and it was one of the errors one I've heard. But that's why human lives work. 6 handkerchiefs.
You said what was that last word?
6 handkerchiefs is what the dude from Jameson whiskey gave them, and they kidnapped a girl and cannibalized her.
I didn't know. I'm not familiar.
Yeah, but that's a different culture, man. But anyway, man, I'll let you go. I know you got more calls trying to get in.
Jeff, man, thank you. Go. Appreciate your call. Call me again, sir.
All right, have a good one.
Yes. Oops. 888-775-3773. Yeah, relooted.
Reason.
Jeff's on the gaming news. I think Jeff's building a rig as we speak. I think Jeff's becoming no, I'm joking. Jeff's building a rig. He's becoming a PC gamer, but he's having trouble finding graphics cards. I say buy them old. Don't worry, they're still good. But Relooted. Are we playing Relooted? Nah, I don't think I want to spend money on this. Hold on, it looks good.
We're here for one reason.
That side scrolly room, like modular room. What's that? Like that sub game or whatever. It looks that concept looks fun.
Get back what was taken.
It looks like highly playable.
How are you going to do that?
Sometimes heroes have to be outlawed.
No alarm on the glass. I'm in.
Make sure you've planned your escape route before you pick this artifact up. There's a turret up ahead.
I need Forger here.
He's on it.
You are not alone.
I've got your back.
Think. Plan. Don't rush.
Stop, intruder!
I'm a visitor.
Oh, really? Please, enjoy the museum.
Oh, social engineering. You can also use social engineering too for your heist.
Got it.
It's time to get out of there.
No problem.
Got it, Steve.
Don't get sloppy.
Move!
No mind. Thanks, Trev. I got you.
Is it stealing, they ask? To take back what was stolen? What a bunch of losers. Yeah, the concept, of course, is for losers, but this looks horrible. Okay, don't lie now. Don't just make up things. It's woke. Yes, the concept is like one thing, but that side scrolly, I forget how to call that. That like where they have those like modular rooms. I'm thinking of that top down. What's it called? What's that top down heist game that you also plan out in steps? It's really good. I've never played it, but I just know that it's fun. I don't really play much anymore, but I just know concepts that are like fun because it's like you see it's like another battle royale, it's like they do the same thing over. So when you see something kind of fresh, I bet you, heist, a planned heist. What's the one I'm thinking of? Is it Helldivers? Not Helldivers, but you plan out like a breach and clear, like a FBI, not an FBI, but like a special ops breach and clear of a property, and you have to like plan it out perfectly. Which one am I thinking of? Like that stuff's fun. So don't just make things up. Yeah, obviously this is like woke BS. Door kickers. I'm thinking of door kickers. Thank you, Tactical Brucey. But I haven't even played. I haven't played anything. What did I play? We played what's it called? Arc Raiders recently, didn't we? No, that seemed like okay. So anyways, moving on here, 888-775-3773. Thank you so much for the coffees and all the support. Lori, back at ya. Okay, I won't read yours on air, but I do appreciate your back-to-back support, all your support. That's awesome. Thank you, someone with all those coffees. Very cool. Harmony, I didn't read your super chat yesterday, thanking us for the dub guest. Knit. Hashtag union dues. Back at you. Harmony, I appreciate it. Olav with a super chat I didn't read. It was actually for our guest. And I'll pass it along, Olav. You know, he has a suggestion about content ideas and collaborations that we could do. Duly noted, Olav. I do appreciate it all the way out of Norway. Birdie Bound Brian with a super chat. Just wait until Nick comes out of the hyperbolic time chamber. Thank you, sir. I do appreciate that. You know, I'm giddy at such terminology, making it my favorite super chat of the day. Look, when I come out of the hyperbolic time chamber, you guys are going to be like, what? You guys are going to be like, what? Okay. And then you're going to want to know how. I used to play a Japanese video game where I drove a fork truck for money at a factory. That's always really funny to me. Just how many people, like, they'll do like a job all day, you know, some sort of they'll do like a job all day, some sort of task. Maybe it's skilled or whatever, but it's maybe menial or whatever. It's even funnier if it's menial, because then they come home to then sit down and play hours of a game where they simulate themselves doing menial tasks for, you know, wage pay. Let me just be a trucker. Let me come home, be a trucker for some hours. Let me come home, and then they come home and I saw this one. It's like convenience store simulator, and you're just an owner of a convenience store. You stock the shelves, you sell. You know, people come in. You see the customers come in. They'll buy various convenience store things, a drink, some cigarettes, maybe some toiletries of some sort. They'll pay. You'll count the cash. You know, you put it in the cashier. You give them their change. Then the day ends, and you count your earnings, and you use your earnings to buy more products and upgrade the store. And that's your gaming loop. And then you come home and do that, right? So that's always really funny to me. I don't know. I kind of like something about that, right? Simulating. I like much bigger simulations though, like, you know, like a whole theme park or an airline. But hey, you know, drive-through simulator's cool too. Let me just be the drive-through guy. Let me take your order. People play this. They're for hours. Amazing. Thank you, Only Love Matters. Making sure she clicked the like button. He or she, I don't know. Amazing. All right, let's keep it moving here. Where were we? We're in the middle of this. Okay. You know what was oh yeah, we're in the house. We were just watching the ICE director and Eric Swalwell making it clear that they don't want any deportations. They want nothing like that. Okay, so let's do this. Let me pull this up. Okay, let me see here. 888-775-3773. Okay, so Pam Bondi, the DOJ, and these Epstein files. Okay, it's been a topic for a bit. Something I'm not even that educated on. Okay, and like the history and the tit for tat. But here's kind of like my recollection of it thus far, so to speak. I mean, you had these hold on. Oh, this is not my stuff. Hold on. Let me pull up all my notes. Okay, so I mean, where do we start here? I mean, I'm just going off the top here, just what I kind of know about it before I get into some of the news. But essentially, I mean, trying my best to recap, but I mean, I guess you kind of got to go back to 22. I guess you kind of have to go back to the 2024 campaign, right? Trump running. And now you have to understand, with all these promises, the public and the reporting of it has been like a little unfair, with all the so-called promises and pledges for releasing Epstein-related files, etc. I guess you got to go back to the campaign where Trump, they'll say repeatedly pledged to release Epstein-related files. I forget how he really put it. He kind of, I'm trying to remember. Anybody remember? He basically put it like, "I'll look into it" or something like that. He wasn't against it. There's I think you could say strong signaling to desire, or at least a desire to look into releasing Epstein files. Okay. And so now, to describe why there was this sort of onus, however credible or however strong, there is a perceived onus on the Trump administration for releasing these files. I think you'd have to take it to the campaign. They call it campaign pledges or talks of it. Anybody remember how he actually put it, though? The point is, so that's kind of how it went down. So that's where these calls come from. Like, hey, what's going on with that? Release it. You get to Pam Bondi, right? She's running the DOJ. And there was some interesting commentary from her, like, the client list is sitting on my desk right now, right? They'll say. And I think Kash Patel, too, made some claims that got everybody going, and then they, walked it back, like, I didn't mean it like that. Maybe that was too far for me to say. I tend to believe some of that, because consider even saying such a misnomer like, I have a client list on my desk. No. What everybody knows now, anybody who's paying attention, is that the Epstein list is it's a collection of documents. It's a collection of documents and implications and maybe even leads. But that's what it is, okay? What it is and what it isn't, right? It's not a Rolodex of peoples and their crimes and exactly how many children they ordered or anything like that. But okay, I mean, that's kind of like my remembrance of the situation. And as it goes down, I mean, as 2025 rolled out, Trump's year coming in, and there was calls to hurry up on that stuff, essentially. And it's come down to this this Transparency Act, okay? This Transparency Act that, essentially was put together by a bipartisan effort, right? They say Representative Ro Khanna, Democrat of California, and helped along with others. They call it bipartisan, with near unanimous support, passed this legislation which requires the DOJ to publicly release all unclassified Epstein-related files, all of them, in a searchable format with limited redactions for victim privacy or national security. Now, this is coming from Congress, right? And Trump had to sign this. You have to understand this. For those, you could say, basically the criticism right now is the Trump admin and the DOJ is slow walking it. And there may be some truth to that. Honestly, I'm not up on all that. And there may be some truth to that, like slow walking, tantamount to a cover up. I just don't know. But that is the criticism. And it's why they're bringing Bondi to this oversight committee and all that. Why Massey is involved, Thomas Massey, because they are the bipartisan Congress that's put together this thing saying, hey, release the files. Yes, Trump signed on it, and essentially that's part of his administration's record. It's part of his administration's record. They signed this into law. For those keeping score, I mean, are they slow walking it or not? I mean, it's part of his record. They're saying, now the criticism is, okay, 3 million files were dropped. They're saying, where's the other half? The other 3 million, and there's criticisms of the redactions. They'll say was it redacted properly? White House is saying, hey, we redacted it. Of course, you guys said it's got to protect victims. That's what we did. That's their claim. And so this is how it's been going down. That's pretty much the score thus far. Could you call it? Could you say Trump, Trump admin, DOJ, et cetera, is kind of opposed to this? Maybe. I really don't know. I'm not making such a claim. I personally don't have a real hard stake in this. I mean, release the files, don't. Let's find the blackmail, don't. I mean, I've been commenting mostly on the public reaction and just how simple people are. Thus far as it stands, can we really say much? I mean, I'm for example, Jamie Raskin, who is this Democrat. You might be somewhat familiar with him out of Maryland. Representative Jamie Raskin, he goes off on Pam Bondi. I want to play this clip because he's going off on her, right? And it's just like anybody watching is like, you know what? Yeah, what the heck? This guy, if you hear him out, he's like, there's 9-year-olds. There's 9-year-olds in these files. There's 9-year-olds, Pam Bondi. You'll listen and you'll be like, wow, there's 9 years old. There's 9-year-olds are mentioned in the Epstein files. Yeah, Trump, what's up? You might think, right? And again, like I said, like if there's a blackmail ring, reveal it. I don't know. Do what you got to do. But on the things thus far, you'll have people just tripping. They'll point to Jamie Raskin. I'm going to play the clip in a second. But there seems to be no evidence of some of these things, okay? So that's what I've been commenting on, the public going nuts on some of these things. Let me see here. Jamie Raskin, let me play this. This is an ad. Hold on. What are you guys saying? You guys are saying, oh, they're just talking about beef jerky. They're just talking about pizza and beef jerky. Okay, those are like strange. Maybe worth maybe some sort of lead or something strange, but it's just it's just like implication. It's just, you got to understand. They're coming out with like strong claims, right? Saying they're calling people pedophiles and stuff, which, you really shouldn't say about anybody without strong evidence. Are they just talking about beef jerky and pizza in those emails? Maybe those, it seems like code for other things. I really don't know. But if you're this representative out of Maryland and you're a citizen watching this, you shouldn't be like, wow, yeah, get him. There's 9-year-olds in the file. You should say, what is your evidence? You should be asking Jamie Raskin, what is your evidence? And here's the funny thing about pizza and beef jerky. In Jamie Raskin's thing I'm about to play, he mentions pizza. I don't think that's an accident, okay? I think Jamie Raskin and Democrats know how the public thinks, okay, and how they can be primed. I just want you to watch this, and then I'll comment.
Thank you kindly, Mr. Chairman, and welcome, Attorney General Bondi. You've got the best lawyer's job in America because your mission is justice, and your clients are the American people. But to promote justice for the people, you've got to listen to the victims, like the women seated behind you today. Those are just some of the hundreds of survivors of Jeffrey Epstein's global sex trafficking ring who are demanding that the truth be told and are demanding accountability for the abusers who trafficked and raped them. You still haven't met with these survivors. So with their
this is long. Let's just watch this, but
permission, let me introduce to you the survivors and late survivors.
Because the clip I was going to play was more some of this was cut off. But okay, this is fine too, because I was going to mention this too, where they're bringing up the survivors, okay, and they have them stand. Others have them do it too. They do this performative thing where they have them stand.
Family
Pam Bondi, look at them. Look at the survivors.
Members who are present today. there's Teresa Helm, there's Jess Michaels, Laura Bloom McGee, Danny Bensky, Liz Stein, Marina Lacerda, Sky and Amanda Roberts, who are the family of the late Virginia Giuffre, Charlene Richard, and Lisa Phillips.
Michael Tracy, who's been he's an independent journalist following a lot of this stuff. He says a bunch of these people have been questioned as early as 2019. I mean, as you know, as recent as 2019, as 2024. Some of them, you know, if they have new information for whatever, it's like then they should come forward. But like otherwise, they've already been asked, they've already been deposed. Many of them have gotten huge payouts. Have, you know, like they did the case, they got the payouts, they did all this stuff. So this is such a performative thing, right? Have them stand up and look at Pam Bondi and say, Pam Bondi, have you met with any of them? Like, why should she meet with any of them?
Now, you're not showing a lot of interest in the victims, Madam Attorney General, whether it's Epstein's human trafficking ring or the homicidal governmental violence against citizens in Minneapolis. As Attorney General, you're siding with the perpetrators and you're ignoring the victims. That will be your legacy.
When have they been ignored? Like, again, when have they been ignored?
Unless you act quickly to change course. You're running a massive Epstein cover-up right out of the Department of Justice. You've been ordered by subpoena and by Congress to turn over 6 million documents, photographs, and videos in the Epstein files, but you've turned over only 3 million.
See, on that, I don't make a comment. Like, I really don't know. Are they slow walking it? Like, maybe. I don't have an opinion on that. I just, you know, he's standing on. They just throw in all this other stuff to stand on, and it shows how. Why would you need all this other stuff to stand on? It's all fake. Oh, the victims and their tears, and you got to talk to them. Look, if they're slow walking it and it's tantamount to a cover-up and all that, I have no opinion on that personally.
You say you're not turning over the other 3 million because they're somehow duplicative, but we know that there are actual memos of victim statements in there, and you also took down the Department of Justice's prosecution memo from 2019. So it's clearly not all duplicative, but even if it were, why not release it? Just release all the duplicative stuff. In the half you did.
You got to understand what he's standing on to is this legislation. It's like the legislation does say they have to release it all. So I guess you could say, well, you would be in opposition to the law if you won't release it. I'm making no opinions on that. It could be like they don't want to show something. I really don't know.
Bruce, you redacted the names of abusers, enablers, accomplices.
Now I'm trying to move on a little fast because the part, let me just keep it playing, okay? Or else we'll be here forever.
And co-conspirators, apparently to spare them embarrassment and disgrace, which is the exact opposite of what the law ordered you to do. Even worse, you shockingly failed to redact many of the victims' names, which is what you were ordered to do by Congress. Some of the victims had come forward publicly, but many had not. Many had kept their torment.
Oh, geez. See, the part I was trying to get to is this 9-year-old thing, right? It's like, well, Epstein victim was just 9 years old as senior government officials named. According to Representative Jamie Raskin, said he allegedly saw some unspecified reference in the files to a 9-year-old. But there's this so-called email that keeps going around. 9-year-old. It's been shown to be what they're calling a formatting error. An email that everybody else has already been passing around social media. That's according to Michael Tracy, who's been following this and reported on that. This email that says like 9, but and some weird characters. It was a formatting error. But anyways, where was I? I'm trying to stress that this was like proven, like the media reported on this, saying that was a clerical error. And so you have Raskin, right? There's something real snaky about that. Let me stand on dubious, like debunk stuff. You don't really care about the truth either. let me try and drum up this like pedo panic that people are in right now. So where was I? Epstein. Where was I?
All that bother.
So there's these 6 names they're saying were unredacted. Okay. There's these 6 men that Thomas Massey and this Ro Khanna are claiming are likely incriminated. Michael Tracy asked, hey, since we now have the names of the 6 men you claimed are likely incriminated, what evidence did you obtain showing that these people committed child sex crime?
But what I saw that bothered me were the names of at least 6 men that have been redacted that are likely incriminated by their inclusion in these files. So that's the first thing that I saw. It took some digging to find.
What's likely incriminated mean? You know what I mean? Likely incriminated. You know, that's coming from Massey, by the way, and these people. Because there was something someone was saying that was going around about it was the DOJ who named them as co-conspirators. But let me pull this up. Hold on. Politico. Okay, hold on. The language likely incriminated comes directly from Reps Thomas Massey and Ro Khanna, who reviewed unredacted files and publicly highlighted the issue. Okay. Honestly, where was I here? So whatever, like, I have no real opinion on the files. Like, reveal the rings and all that. Reveal what you got to reveal. But it seems like, do you see this? Like they're tripping about pedo rings. Jamie Raskin, I was hoping I could play it for you, but he's like, Trump orders, what did they say? Like pizza. He orders like pizza. Hold on. Jamie Raskin orders like pizza. Donald Trump orders up prosecutions like pizza, and you deliver every time, he said. Talking about about Pam Bondi and the DOJ that they're going after. He tells you, go after James Comey, Jerome Powell, or whatever, and you do it. And you snap to it. Trying to say, like, the DOJ, they're corrupt, covering up, just doing whatever Trump says. But, you know, he said, he orders up prosecutions like pizza, and you deliver every time, as they're talking about Epstein. He brings up, Jamie Raskin brings up the 9-year-old thing when it's been, like, proven a clerical error. And it's like, it's like a snaky mental priming on hearsay and conjecture, right? It's like, am I tripping here? Anyways, but that is going on right now, and I don't know. It looked like Bondi was. They're saying she's crashing out. That she was crashing out on some of these people. Let me see some of the clips I collected. Okay, here's this one moment with Representative Pramila Jayapal.
Bondi, you apologized to the survivors in your opening statement for what they went through at the hands of Jeffrey Epstein. Will you turn to them now and apologize for what your Department of Justice has put them through with the absolutely unacceptable release of the Epstein files and their information? Will you turn to them now and apologize for what your Department of Justice has put them through with the absolutely unacceptable release of 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 the absolutely unacceptable rele of the Epstein files and their information.
Wait, what? Is she saying
your Department of Justice has put them through with the absolutely unacceptable release of the Epstein files and their information.
Wait, what? Am I missing it? Is she saying you released too many files? Is she saying you released these files and it made it hurt it hurt these survivors? Did you think about that? Am I missing this? Do they want to release it or not? She likes to make men uncomfortable. Someone in the chat said. Am I tripping? Is she saying you released the information in these files you released that we asked you to release hurt them? Did you think about that?
Here's the video.
Let me see here. Where'd I? Because I put this all under Bondi getting grilled. Bondi crashes out over Epstein. The Dow is over $50,000.
Over $50,000. I don't know why you're laughing. You're a great stock trader, as I hear, Raskin. The Dow is over 50,000 right now. The S&P at almost 7,000. And the NASDAQ smashing records. Americans' 401ks and retirement savings are booming. That's what we should be talking about. We should be talking about making Americans safe. We should be talking about, what does a Dow have to do with anything? That's what they just asked. Are you kidding?
Mr. Jordan, Mr. Jordan.
Committee will be in order.
Mr. Jordan, am I going to get an extra 45 seconds added to my time?
The committee will be in order.
So they say she crashed out. What are you talking about Epstein for? The freaking economy's amazing. Amazing president.
Order. The time belongs to the gentleman from Texas. Ms. Bondi, the Attorney General can respond.
Thank you.
Here's the point. Here's the point. I mean, it's a little. Here's the point. It's just that this is not. There's no revealing going on here. You understand? Like, if there is if there's something terrible in the background or something, or people that need to be named or whatever, like it's not happening. You see, if they're covering it up on Trump's side or like slow walking or whatever, then that's happening. And if it's the Democrats, they're on a Me Too thing. They're coming up with, they're calling it, Chuck Schumer called it, they introduced a bill called Virginia's Law in honor of Virginia Roberts Giuffre, who Michael Tracy calls one of the most destructive bullish peddlers in world history. The bill would abolish the statute of limitations for trafficking lawsuits. Imagine that for a moment. You could have been like a willing participant in something a little sordid decades ago. Now you can Epstein anyone you want. Now you can Me Too Epstein anyone you want. You understand? This is an attack. This is like, they're just going after Trump, doing more feminist crap so they could go after people. They're not revealing anything. If there is a ring or whatever, they're not revealing it. And they got you standing on, hearsay and clerical errors. You see what I'm saying? That's what I'm saying here. But anyways. Virginia's law. What a stupid law. So no statute of limitations. Now you can just make any claims because you're a woman survivor. Anyways, all these people have been paid. Let's move on. Okay. That's just what I was thinking. All right, Bondi, is she crashing out though? Is she crashing out a bit? This is a crash out for America, because this is a dumb. This is dumb, anyways, right? There's nothing to see here. It's time to move on. Bondi's doing it for America. Bondi's crashing out for America. Maybe.
Gentleman can move to his next question.
It's my time.
Within 40 minutes, you asked me a question.
You can
Within
give me-
40 minutes,
Get him, Bondi.
Wexner's name was added back.
Within 40 minutes of me catching you red-handed.
Red-handed.
I wish I could. This is dumb because I'm not giving you context here. Why is?
There was one redaction out
Where
of
he's
over
listed as a co-conspirator.
4,700,
Okay.
and we invited
what?
you
Show
in.
the video.
This guy has Trump derangement syndrome. He needs to get. You're a failed politician.
Gentlemen,
You need to
I
get
want you to watch the video.
Mr. Chairman, please restore his time and remind.
I'm sorry. I'm not giving you any context here. So it's bad. Let me just move on. I'm not exactly sure what they're talking about. Man, I don't dislike Massey. I do get this my impression of him is like, all right, so you're like, I don't know. I get this like the stream is ended. All right, YouTube saying my stream ended. I don't believe it. Sometimes that happens and it's not true. Give me a 1 in the chat if I'm still here. Where was I? Where was I? 888-775-3773. These people aren't serious people. Okay, it's all like a show. That's what I'm trying to say. Like they were talking about
Video.
Oh, geez. Why does this one clip has to be so loud? You know, they're in this house. They're in Congress, and just to show you, I mean, they're not real people. It's all a show. They bring up Alex Preddy, you know, and some other thing, and they show that image. They show that one image of an AI generated image of a so-called Alex Preddy being shot by headless AI generated ICE officers. This was like a confirmed AI generated image. I recognize it. We all recognize it. And they look at it, it's printed out in a committee hearing. They're like, ICE is bad and this must end. You can't deport anyone. Look at this AI generated image. We're going to show officially at this Homeland Security Committee hearing. You understand what we're dealing with? It's just a big joke. Okay. So yeah, that's that. That's all that. Epstein. That's all that. See what else I had saved here. Let's see what else I have saved here. Wow, you won't believe this. Oh yeah, there was this interesting post by Michael Tracy about the deception of Epstein, how our government is deceiving us. More evidence of the government deceiving us about Epstein. Whoa. Kash Patel and Pam Bondi, in their notorious FBI/DOJ memo last July, they made a sensational claim that Epstein harmed over 1,000 victims. 1,000. Wow, that's sure a lot of victims. Politicians, journalists, activists, lawyers have subsequently repeated this staggering number over the past several months. Well, thank goodness for the Epstein files, because now we know that that number was complete bullish, according to Michael Tracy. He makes it, and you can read this for yourself on his Substack, but to summarize, he points out how what's radically inflating those numbers is the inclusion in this total victim list is victim families. For example, victims' families are counted as among those harmed by Epstein. So, and he lays it out in his Substack article, the other ways how that number is so radically inflated. Anyways, he calls it a number of things. He calls it like a nothing burger. I don't really have an opinion like that. Okay, I am, however, fascinated by the public panic over erroneous information and the fake victimhood of the left, just using this as an easy cudgel against Trump. Is the slow walk from the DOJ Pam Bondi? Is there anything worse there? I don't know. Okay, there, we wrapped it up. 888-775-3773. Man, sorry, I'm going through my Michael Tracy links. He's just such an interesting guy. I love contrary. Is that the word? You know, just like voices that don't just go with what everybody's saying. That's not to say that makes them instantly right. It's just interesting to have perspectives that are like not what everybody's saying. All right, moving on. Okay, let's see here. now that millions of files are out, just like everyone demanded, if you're still generically calling for the prosecution of people, it's time to get a lot more specific. That was Michael Tracy actually responded to Elon Musk. Doing what I can for justice. It's messed up. So many people are getting away with hurting minors. Okay, moving on. Amazing. All right, so what's up with this shooter? This is next on my list. We're going to Canada for a moment. Okay. You may have heard of this one. Okay. 10 dead, 25 injured at a Canadian school, Tumbler Ridge. That's over in British Columbia, which is like all the way to the west. Call it the California, and I only mean that geographically. BC, I mean, Canada's pretty liberal, diverse. Vancouver has like this Asian contingency, but I mean, there's an Asian contingency all over Canada. So British Columbia, probably pretty liberal. I mean, they say BC Bud comes out of there, right? Oh, you smoking that BC Bud. You know, stoner places have to be off the deep end liberal, right? If you're known for stoners, at least in part. But I'm pulling this up now. And this Tumbler Ridge shooting, they're saying it was a trans person, a male to female, allegedly. With the early report saying someone in a dress was a shooter. Canada, gun-free Canada. This is one going around as a criticism of Canada. Well, what happened? Gun-free Canada. You can have something like this happen. Well, what does that matter? I mean, we tried telling you that.
Welcome to City News Live at 11. I'm Nima Rajan, and we begin tonight with devastating news from northeastern BC. 10 people are dead, including the suspect in what's believed to be a school shooting in the community of Tumbler Ridge, BC. Our Cecilia Hua joins us in studio to tell us what we know so far. Now, Cecilia, absolutely devastating news tonight. What do we know about what happened and the local police response?
Yeah, Nima, this is one of the biggest tragedies that our province, our country, and certainly the rural town of Tumbler Ridge has ever seen. People are now confirmed dead in this mass shooting.
What's that going on? This computer's fritzing out. What the? Everything just broke. You see that? Yo, what the heck? Am I still streaming? Why does this happen? Bill, somebody, hold on. Let me try this. Let me try reconnecting this. Watch, Bill's on his way.
Injuries, and a third died on the way to hospital. At the same time, police responded.
Okay, I need to reset all this. Hold on. What a mess. Okay. I think I fixed it, but not yet, actually. I got no audio. But I bet you any moment I'll have audio in a sec. What the heck?
To a second.
All right, let's just keep this going.
Their doors. When police entered the school, and we were told they were there within minutes, they found multiple victims. 6 were deceased, and the suspect was also found dead with a self-inflicted injury. 2 victims were airlifted to hospital with serious injuries, and a third died on the way to hospital. At the same time, police responded to a second location believed to be connected to this mass shooting, a residential home where they found 2 more deceased victims. The active shooter threat was lifted at 5:45 p.m. The remaining students and staff at the school were safely evacuated, and police do not believe there is any further risk to the public.
So we have two scenes. We have the school, and then we have found two other persons deceased at a residence in Tumbler Ridge that we're trying to determine the connection to this event. We believe they're connected, but we're not in a position to provide that definitively right now at this time, and what that connection may or may not be. We're still triaging.
This is the guy that says dress. Did he say that
Right
already?
now at this time, and what that connection may or may not be. We're still triaging other victims, and I don't have updates on whether that number could rise. The scene was very dramatic, and there were multiple victims that are still being cared for.
Seems to be working out.
And
Bill.
Cecilia, I'm sure the community is still reeling from this tragedy.
But sorry, chat, hold on. I'm just watching this clip here, Bill, and then all of a sudden I just got like a bunch of like colorful bars, like really thin bars, like some sort of graphic, and then it just black, all audio gone. Had to replug and reset and replug stuff. Okay, we're watching this news clip on that shooting. Okay, folks, and where were we? This Tumbler Bridge mass shooting, 10 dead, 25 injured, and up in Canada, BC. Who and there's reports the family has revealed this person's identity, and this person's social media, etc., really do reveal what seems to be a trans ideology, etc. And all that. I want to show that to you in a second. Where was I? I'm a little confused. And yeah, I was going to show you that because they basically, you know, the family has confirmed this identity of this Jesse Strang, according to Juno News. The individual alleged to be the shooter has been identified by a close family member as Jesse Strang. Juno News spoke directly with Russell Strang, Jesse Strang's uncle, who confirmed Jesse was transgender and responsible for the shooting that left 10 people dead. A public YouTube account believed to be owned by Jesse features the transgender flag and all that. They reveal this person's like online handle, JesseBoy347, which is not important. Whatever. I was going to show you this Reddit post, but that's not important. Yeah, deranged. They got shooters. The gun laws didn't protect anything, and it's always the same story. You got an individual. Maybe it's not always trans and like a lefty ideology, but what is it? An individual with problems, and they end up finding out, where was it? I don't want to say something that I don't have confirmed, but I swear I had a report that this person was on antidepressants. It's always the same crap. They're on SSRIs. They're experimenting with drugs. They're a pothead. And I don't want to just say that. I swear I had that somewhere. Hold on. You know, there was initial reportings. When it was initially reported, they said, shooter in a dress. The 10 dead, 25 plus injured after a woman wearing a dress. You know, it's not a woman. But where was this? There was reports of this individual on SSRIs and on pot and even trying like psychedelics. Here it is. The Tumbler Ridge shooter was apparently on 280 milligrams of sertraline, an SSRI. They get this information because this online handle that was confirmed by the family, JesseBoy347, there's these posts on social media allegedly connected to this Jesse Strang about using psychedelics, pot, and SSRIs. Okay? And the doses this person was on. They were on an antipsychotic, according to this post. I also smoke a decent bit of weed. I had a complete mental break on 3 grams of shrooms. And then this post, this person's asking about an interest in using DMT, a very powerful psychedelic. So, it's always the same story. You see this? It's always the same crap. Anyways, What are y'all saying here? 888-775-3773. Yeah, it's saying I'm not streaming. My chat's gone. It says connect your encoder. Now this is different. This is not the usual message that I'm used to that I can ignore, safely ignore. My chat is actually gone. I don't see you guys. And it says I'm not live. It says connect your encoder to go live. What the heck? What is happening? Let me check my phone. Maybe you guys are still, maybe I'm still live. It says connect your encoder. For those that know what I'm talking about, it means I'm not streaming. Here, the chat's gone. American Anchor, baby. It's possible I'm not streaming at all. Okay, I see you guys. I see the chat if I go through my phone. What a mess. I really don't know what happened, folks. But I see you in the chat. I see you through the phone. Amazing. Thank you, Lori. I think I already thanked all my super chats here. The coffees and the support on Rumble. I'll just keep going here. It seems like I'm live. In the last few minutes here.
What do we...
Shall we just run it down? Oh, man. We see you, bruh. Okay, I see you guys here on my phone. Hit the side of the computer. Why are they telling Hake to shut up? Okay. Here's stuff that we didn't get to. Stuff that we did not get to. Here's my overflow topics. Here's the overflow of topics. Here's one thing we didn't get to. Anti-turnstile theft, or what do they call it? Turnstile jumping, okay? You might have seen some investment from different cities.
It's a tale as old as time, if you will.
In
New Yorkers have hopped subway
curbing these turnstile hoppers who refuse to pay fares for the subways and various public transits, which, you know, somebody's got to pay for them. And so they've implemented all sorts of anti-turnstile hopping.
I don't think those work that great.
Yeah, I don't know.
You've probably seen them at a station near you.
I've
It
seen
is
videos
kind
of
of
the
a
New York ones. That I forget how much they invested in it, but I've seen videos of the New York ones easily like gone. They get around them pretty easily.
a stylistic choice.
Okay, so that's one way, but this morning the MTA unveiled its latest attempt to crack down on fare beaters with a brand new design. Eyewitness News reporter Jayesh Patel live for us on the Lower East Side, and every time we see new turnstiles, we always think as New Yorkers, like, how could we beat it? How could we, so I'm very curious to see how they're finally going to say, no, this is the one. Jayesh.
What kind of reporter is that? He's like, when we see these things, that's what I'm thinking about. I'm thinking about how do I hop it? Is he black? Hold on. Oh, he black. He looks kind of black. He mixed, that maybe. He's like, hey, when we see these new things, when they try and put these new laws to stop us from stealing and stop us from, committing theft, the first thing that comes to my mind is, how do I get around that? Right, guys? Right, New Yorkers? Huh? You too, right? He black.
Since they've been around, the MTA.
Or was it not that guy who was speaking? Hold on. I might be hold on.
Yeah, I've never done it.
Virtually since they've been around, the MTA has been trying to stop it from happening.
One, I don't think those stylists
Hold on. We gotta
on
make
the
sure.
Lower East Side, and every time we see
It is the black guy saying that.
new turnstiles, we always
Or the
think
black-looking guy, or mixed.
as New Yorkers, like, how could we beat it? How could we, so I'm very curious to see how they're finally going to say no.
He black. Okay, here's why I'm bringing it up. It's overflow topics, but it was interesting enough to write it down. Look, it was good. It was about the BART, which is I forget where this is. Philly. BART. Where's the BART? BART trains. Okay. Bay Area Rapid Transit in San Francisco, okay? BART, okay? BART installed anti-fare hopping gates, okay, some time ago. Let's look at San Francisco and their success. The benefits, the success in their fare hoppers and curbing them. Next-gen fare gate successes. Hours spent on patron-related corrective maintenance within the paid area of stations reduced significantly after next-gen fare gate installations. So they installed these next-generation fare gates and corrective maintenance, which is what they called it a system-wide improvement, 961-hour reduction in 6 months post-installation. Okay, I'm just going to assume that it's working well. Okay? I may not understand some of the jargon, but it's working well. And this data shows that only a small amount of people, only a small amount of people created all of 90% of the problems. BART installed anti-fare hopping gates, and the amount of station maintenance and cleanup they had to do went to basically zero. The poor condition of public transit is fairly easy to fix, and it's caused by a very small group of people. Man, I love broken windows policing. That's what I'm trying to say. God, I love me some broken windows policing. Just get those fare hoppers, get the litterers, get the small stuff, and you deal with the big stuff. And you keep it clean for the people. It's usually a small group of people committed to ruining things. And the stats show it. Okay, moving on. Guess what happens when you don't subsidize stuff? You get the government to pay for it, meaning? Guess what happens when you don't subsidize stuff? Wow. So, you might remember Snapgate. Or why was Snap such a big deal? I forget what happened recently. Snap was like a big topic. I think it was why? Oh yeah, because of like fraud. But I think something happened before that. I forget why Snap became such a big topic. I think it was revealed that they just buy junk food with it. I forget why Snap benefits people who get food stamps and all that. Why? I forget why that became. Remember that was like slightly viral recently? Well, there's been some recent changes by the U.S. Department of Agriculture's Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program. I mean, changes made to that program. And basically, you can't buy certain junk foods in certain states. As early as 2026, several states have enacted waivers that will remove soda, candy, and other low-nutrient items from eligible SNAP purchases. So no more Dorito Boys, and the taxpayer paying for that. You get these fat kids. You've seen this. These fat people who are living off the government dime. And I'm remembering why it went viral, because they proposed these changes. And they went nuts. They started posting all these videos. They were videoing themselves saying, "How dare you? The taxpayer's supposed to pay for my children. How dare you?" So that changed. You can't buy them Doritos. And guess what happens? PepsiCo cut Lay's Doritos prices as much as 15% to boost sales. You're telling me my Doritos? You're telling me I've been paying a more expensive Dorito price because I'm subsidizing, I'm footing the bill, I'm footing the Doritos bill for all those people who don't want to get jobs? So my Doritos are more expensive to pay for their Doritos. But anyways, this is silly. I had it in the overflow topics here, but I mean, it was really interesting to write down. I mean, for those who don't get the simple economics here of subsidizing and how you make things more expensive. And suddenly the government's not going to pay for all those Doritos. And PepsiCo's like, we need to boost sales, which they're leaving out. Well, why did your sales take a hit? Because the government was buying a bunch of them, essentially. The taxpayer was essentially, right, just the Takis tax, as some of you are calling it. Right? You see the simple economics at play here. I mean, I'm just trying to show it to you. Now suddenly you don't have a bunch of people who are just getting free Doritos on the taxpayer money. The PepsiCo getting a huge money, a huge revenue boost, because they're not going to pinch pennies over Doritos. It's free money for them, so they're just going to all day send it to PepsiCo, and PepsiCo is like, hey, wow, let's jack up the price. I mean, if they're going to buy it anyways, doesn't matter. They're going to buy it at any price. They're getting it free anyways. It's food stamps. Let's jack up the prices. Anyways. So that was a little thing I had saved there for you. For those who didn't know how some things work. Amazing. Where was I? Rick out of Hampton, Virginia. I appreciate you holding. You're on the air.
What's going on, Brother Nick?
All is well, Rick. And yourself?
Man, everything is going good. With the weather's in the 50s, man. Partly sunny and cloudy here in Hampton, VA. So I can't complain.
Very nice.
How the weather out there in L.A.?
Amazing. The best weather in the world, probably.
Yeah, y'all do, man. Y'all have some of the best weather in the world. Also, y'all politicians just make the whole state terrible to live in.
Yeah.
But anyway, man, I was calling to see how you think the meeting gonna go with President Trump and Netanyahu in D.C. today.
Oh, is that so?
Yeah, that's supposed to have a meeting today.
Trump, over what?
Oh, I guess we'll talk about Iran,
Iran, yeah, that's probably what. True. No, I'm just hearing about this today from you.
Yeah, man. So I guess hopefully be some good talks, man. But you know what? I was talking to a coworker about Israel. I know Israel is God's chosen people, but like I always said, most Jews seem to be liberal. So if they ain't obeying God's commands, I believe that's conditional.
Oh, the being chosen thing?
Yeah, everybody say Israel is God's chosen people.
Yeah, that's right.
And I'm like, yeah, the land may be God's, chosen area, but, I bless him. When God's blessed, they conditional. But don't get me wrong, God bless us anyway, even when we are not serving him. But most time I see Jews, they tend to be liberal.
That's right.
I just see say, okay, and you can't be a Christian and be a Democrat. There's no way. Somebody has to explain that to me, man.
And why do you say that?
Because what they stand for. The Democratic Party, anti-God, they for same-sex marriage, transgenders, they even for kids getting sex change without even telling their parents, man.
And maybe Republicans are too, but the Democrats say it. It's all you can't be like they're the ones that say it. So it's like, you can't be a Christian and a Democrat. What the?
With the Democrats, it's just man. It's like, what's that?
On the Jews being liberal thing, I've had a couple callers this week. I think one or two, and they're like, oh, like the source of communism. I forget why this came up, but this was a topic this week on the source of communism. The source of socialism is the Jews, and I'm like, well, I mean, is that true? I mean, and how much does it matter today? I saw this clip today of Dennis Prager. I just saw this moments ago. And he's just like speaking like non-controversially about it. He's like, yeah, duh. Everybody knows that all the world's isms except Nazism was created by the Jews. That's what he said. Dennis Prager.
Now what did the Dennis Prager say? What was done by the Jews?
That all the world's isms were pushed heavily and created and initially created by the Jews. Except Nazism. Pretty much all the world's isms.
No, I don't know about that, man. That's it. But one day I like Dennis Frazier, man. He has some great information.
Mm-hmm.
But I never heard that one before. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, they seem. Well, I think what he's speaking on is like the record of activism and civil rights and all that Jews have over time. And I'm not that familiar, but I respect Dennis Prager. I don't think he's someone who just says things. So that was interesting.
Wow, you know, I tell you one thing. There's a lot of time he knows exactly what he's talking about, man, and he's a very good debater.
That's true.
And he's very knowledgeable.
Totally. Rick, man, anything else you want to say here before we move the wheels? We gotta end the show.
Well, you know what, man? Just wanted to say hello to you guys and hello to our brothers and sisters who else are listening. And keep spreading the truth there, Nick, man. We need to try and get these midterms, and hopefully we can pass some kind of voter ID, laws or something, man, that you got to be a natural-born citizen and have an ID to vote.
True say. I agree.
And that's it, my brother.
Rick, call me again, man.
Yes, sir. Thanks for taking my call, Brother Nick.
Of course. 888-775-3773. If you can, in the last few minutes, we got to go. They're insanely narcissistic. But come on. They could be chosen still, don't you think? I mean, they seem to be at the center of a lot of things. You know what I mean? For better or for worse. They can still be. Maybe you should respect the Bible. It says they're chosen. I don't know about y'all, but I respect the Bible. I'm messing around a bit, but I respect God. He said they're chosen. I don't know about y'all. I'm not going to argue with God. Okay. Amazing, folks. Hope you enjoyed the show. That's it from me. We got Bible Thumper Thursday already tomorrow. More Hake Report and more American Anchor, baby. Looking through quickly here because I appreciate all your support. Amazing. Thank you for all your super chats. Rumble support. How you doing, Jules? Thank you. And amazing, all your support. Buymeacoffee.com/anchor, baby. You guys are very generous. All right, folks. I'll see y'all tomorrow for more American Anchor, baby. Take care for now. I'll see you around. Peace. See you on Punchy, by the way. Punchy in an hour. Punchy TV with the experts on Punchy.tv and Punchy TV on YouTube. All right, folks. For real now. I must go. Take care.
The views, information, thoughts, and opinions expressed during this show are the individual's own and do not represent the views, thoughts, and opinions of the JLP Network or Bond. Their appearance on the program does not imply an endorsement of them or any entity they represent. The material and information presented here is for general information purposes only. The JLP Network and Bond name and all forms and abbreviations are the property of its owner, and its use does not imply endorsement of or opposition to any specific organization, product, or service.